Assalamu alaikum. It is not pleasant shedding light on the unattractive mindset of others, but if this mindset is widespread and shamelessly overt, then it leaves us with no choice but to expose and tackle the root of the problem. Maybe some of you have noticed this, but there is a growing trend amongst many educated and successful Muslim men who openly refuse to consider a hijabi or a remotely practicing woman for marriage. They instead prefer to settle down with non-hijabis, as they appear more open-minded, tolerant, fun, and of course more educated and intelligent. These are the women they want to proudly introduce to mum and dad because it's a symbol of the success they have attained. With a non-hijabi wife on his arm, he can show the world his good and sophisticated taste in women that complement the lifestyle and success he has worked so hard to accomplish, a befitting reward, so to speak. Before I go on further, I want to emphasize that this is not criticizing or in any way judging women who don't wear the hijab. This is a matter between them and God. What we want to discuss is the Muslim men who have divided Muslim women into two categories: a hijabi as ignorant and backwards, and a non-hijabi as open-minded and progressive. This is what the focus is on, this primitive outlook that really shouldn't go unchallenged. I was recently appalled when this distasteful trend reached a friend of mine who had once told me she wanted the kind of man who was knowledgeable about Sheikh X as he was knowledgeable about, for example, Shakespeare. In other words, she welcomed a man who was religiously aware and committed, but who didn't invalidate the importance of being culturally, historically, socially, or globally in tune. So when not long ago an eligible and successful bachelor wanted to come and meet her family with the intention of proposing marriage, it was a sign of hope that there are good and decent men out there who could meet the criteria. But by a sudden twist of fate, the man pulled out from the meeting when he found out that my friend wears the hijab. His decision to not see or meet her before he reached any conclusion was unfounded. But what truly added insult to injury was that he was no longer interested in how compatible they could otherwise be because she wears the hijab. Deservedly, he will never have the pleasure of knowing the remarkable and accomplished woman he has turned down, simply because he didn't anticipate to find those very qualities in a hijabi. Unfortunately, this man isn't alone for many Muslim men, especially those who have gained a credential or two, or have attained success in their careers, convince themselves that a woman that covers up doesn't measure up to them. She represents backwardness, and he certainly doesn't want his progressive mind or image to be tainted by or jeopardized with a hijabi by his side. What would his friends say? What would his colleagues Mike and Chris think? He has so much to live up to, and he can't do that with a woman who has a hijab on her head, which evidently blocks her mind. A hijabi blogger mentioned this deep-rooted issue within the Muslim community. I wanted to let you know that as a hijabi since 1994, I had my share of naysayers. Lots of people tried to tell me that as a hijabi, I wouldn't find a guy interested to marry me. In my early 20s, I was indignant. How dare they tell me I can't get married? But as my late 20s rolled in, I panicked. I started to notice my non-hijabi friends get snapped up and married. I was starting to notice looks of sympathy amongst the auntie set. The experience of this blogger, although she is now married, is by no means uncommon or exaggerated. It is a sad reality that Muslim women who cover up experience discrimination and collective pressure by some societies. But it's tragic when this discrimination and pressure come from their fellow Muslims. There is absolutely no reason for the God-fearing, educated, accomplished, delightful and notable women out there to lower their standards because they're Muslim men, who by the way claim they want a woman that can help them in their religion, are the ones running away from these very qualities.